Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of the program. Here we are together again on the radio. And we're always looking for proof of things that we say on the air. I say lots of things on the air. And although I am your professor, I'm the first one to tell you that I have learned by doing. I have learned the hard way. Much of what I tell you is based on a lifetime of experience, but not necessarily scientific. And yet, all the time, we find scientific evidence for things we have said on the air. And this story is no different. It's from a website called healthcentral.com. And here it is. As you tuck your daughter into bed tonight, you may want to think twice about what bedtime story to read to her. Classic fairy tales such as Cinderella, Snow White, and Hansel and Gretel are loaded with subtle and many not so subtle messages that beauty is inherently good and should be rewarded, while people who are ugly are evil, wicked, and mean. What's wrong with that? Hell, those fairy tales are right on the money. They're absolutely accurate. Ever see that ugly bitch in your office? The one who wants to become your boss? The one who turns guys in for sexual harassment? The women that no man would ever sexually harass in a million years? Not in her dreams? Come on. This story continues. Says here, these messages may have more of an effect on girls and their self-esteem than parents realize, new research contends. Study co-author Liz Grauerholtz, an associate professor of sociology at Purdue University, said parents need to be aware that all literature is teaching children something. And we should be aware what those messages are. You need to raise questions and have a dialogue with your children about the meaning of these fairy tales. You know what I always tell you, in case you haven't heard this before? This could be a very valuable learning experience for your daughter. Let her know that if she's pretty, if she's beautiful, she will be rewarded and everybody will pay attention to her. And if she's homely, fat, or just plain fugly, she better plan on working long and hard, because no man will ever pay her bills. On that basis, I think the fairy tales are very valuable. I told you on the air before, I've said that many women grow up with these unrealistic ideas that come from fairy tales. And I think that causes, forget about the self-esteem issue, I think it causes disappointment down the line. How many of you young ladies waited for years for Prince Charming to come along? Waited too late to cash your chips in. And now the hopes of getting an actual Prince Charming begin to fade. And so you end up having to play musical chairs or Simon Says, and somebody's going to sit down next to you, tag you're it. He's going to be Prince Charming. He's going to be playing that part. There he is, the fat, balding, ass-scratching, ESPN-watching guy that you have now decided to make a home with. Look at him. That is Prince Charming, ladies. No wonder so many women are dissatisfied with marriage. You read statistics that say that men are much more satisfied with marriage than women. Well, of course women are dissatisfied. They grew up waiting for Prince Charming to come along with a glass slipper. They end up with Joe Slob. And they try to rationalize that they're with him because they love him. when in reality, in many cases, they are with him because water seeks its own level, and that was the best they were able to do. How many times have we talked about that on the air? Now, you see a story that talks about self-esteem and fairy tales. We've talked about this on the air many times before the evidence was in. This story continues. This is the co-author of the study, Liz Grauerholtz, again talking and saying that she wanted to have a dialogue with her own daughters about the meaning of these fairy tales. She said, I didn't want my daughters to think they were only valuable for their looks. Well, put it this way. If they're not good looking, no guy will ever pay their bills. And that the women who are not good looking will end up with men who make less money, are less successful, less motivated. Man's biggest motivation is getting a hot chick. That is why we try to make money. That's why we go to college. That's why we get degrees. You may think we want to fix the world or save the world, but in reality, we want a better grade of poon. I think fairy tales teach a very valuable lesson to the little girls. Don't be porking up, dear. Keep yourself in good shape. If you want Prince Charming to come along, you're going to have to do a few crunches, dear. Stop eating crunch and start doing crunches. You know what I'm talking about. Says here, for this study, Grauerholtz and her colleague, by the way, here's the hyphenated name you were expecting in this story, Lori Baker Sperry, from Western Illinois University, analyzed 168 fairy tales written in the 1800s by Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm, popularly known as the Brothers Grimm. Nearly half of these tales have been reproduced in children's books and movies. 5 of the most popular tales are Cinderella, Snow White, Briar Rose, which became Sleeping Beauty, Little Red Cap, which became Little Red Riding Hood, and Hansel and Gretel. Grauerholtz said she wanted to document how girls and women are portrayed in these fairy tales. Results of the study appear in a recent issue of the journal Gender and Society. The researchers found that 94% of the stories talked about physical appearance, and there were an average of almost 14 references to appearance per story. There were many more references to women's beauty than to men's. Well, again, an accurate reflection of the way society really is. One story referred to male physical appearance 35 times versus 114 times for women's beauty. That's appropriate. That is appropriate. The value of a woman in this society is directly linked to how hot she is. If a woman is not hot, she has to compensate by getting degrees, by working her way up in the corporate ladder, by, in many cases, giving up childbearing or pushing it off till very late in life, being perceived as a bitch, because in many cases, you are a bitch. That's the way it works. I mean, you're criticizing fairy tales for telling the truth. This is the way life is. It says here, and those who weren't beautiful didn't fare well in the Grimm Brothers tales. Nearly 20% of the stories linked being ugly with being evil. Well, I would imagine you would be somewhat bitter after you see all the beautiful women getting all the diamonds and the free trips, living in nice houses in nice locations, having kids and having all the expenses of having the kids paid for, while you, the fugly spinster, has to work on holidays, work late, come home to an empty apartment filled with nothing but cats and cans of cat food. Of course, you'd be a little cranky, a bit of a bitch after all of that, a little bitter. I know some of you are out there right now, you bitter women who know But the only way you'll ever get anywhere in society is to work your ass off, because no man will ever step in like Prince Charming and say, let me take care of all of this for you. Let me take you away from all of this. It will never happen. Never. Because your mom supersized it one too many times for you. You know what I'm talking about, ladies? You know where I'm coming from. Sure, you'll have hot apple pie with those French fries. Absolutely. Remember, Mom was just helping you out there. Remember, Mom told you about Sara Lee and Haagen-Dazs, and you just skipped right along to the beat. And you started to wobble to the beat, and then you kind of started lumbering around to the beat until finally you were just plain beat. Yeah, you're a little bitter. Of course you are. So does that make you angry, nasty, evil? I'd say, in many cases, yes. Anyway, that's the research that was done on fairy tales. Don't you think these fairy tales, although they are fiction, more or less accurately reflect the reality of our society?
Tom. 1-800-5800.
Oh, man, it is good to hear your voice.
Yes, I know.
The Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show is 1-800-5800-TOM. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. We appreciate it. Here we are together again on the radio. Jen on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
This is the first time I've called in, so.
Uh-huh.
I actually called in to agree with your point about women who write these articles. It's a complete BS. The only reason why they write them is no beautiful woman is ever going to write an article about pretty women being, I don't know.
I haven't seen the pictures of the specimens who participated in this study, who wrote this study, but I'd be willing to bet, just an opinion here, I'd be willing to bet they are fugly and or fat.
They're far more than that because they probably have PhDs.
Right.
Yes. And
yeah, you know what that means when they got PhDs.
9 years of just studying by themselves, coming up with theories because nobody really talks to them.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So they have to make things up. But,
that's right.
There's not a pretty woman who would write something against another pretty woman. Beauty is appreciated.
Well, what pretty woman would be licking a gift horse in the mouth and doing studies on the self-esteem of fat, ugly women? First of all, how many attractive women would even know how to do a study?
True.
Let's start with that.
Oh, it's just sad.
Yeah, hot chicks aren't a professor of anything.
Well, not anything with a degree.
Well, they don't have to be. If there's a hot chick, there's a man not far behind writing a check.
Well, it could even be a hot chick in college, but, you know, the teacher's giving them a little extra credit anyway.
You know what? The hottest chicks in college are in community college. These are the girls who've been partying and getting laid since they were 13 years old.
True.
And they can't get into a real college. So they go to the 13th grade over there at the junior college or the community college or whatever.
But somehow you always see a good-looking exec and you go, I wonder how she got there. But I guess you don't have to wonder too much.
No, you really don't, do you? Or perhaps it's somebody with very low self-esteem.
Oh, true, that too. And she thinks she's ugly.
That's right.
But then that does make her ugly.
Exactly. Now, Dean said PhD stands for Praline Haagen-Dazs.
Wow.
Yes.
That could be.
Yes, they've eaten a lot of it.
Yeah, but even with fairy tales, it's a fairy tale. I mean, they're just looking too deep into something it's just a story.
Well, it's a story that tells the truth. The beautiful women are rewarded, and the ugly women are perceived as evil.
Well, you have to see. You want the pretty women in front. You want the ugly women in back.
Well, that's right.
So, I mean, that's what any pretty woman's going to be at a front counter, at a window. I don't want to see an ugly person.
Right.
Usually they're bitter, so.
You are exactly right. Well, Jen, thank you very much. You've been a very entertaining caller. I appreciate it. This is Tony on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Tom, how's it going?
All right, Tony.
Oh, yeah, there's a little bit of a different twist to it, and I totally agree with you in the way that you're talking about the stories, the bedtime stories, and how the women that are ugly are usually, the bitches, the witches or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How about looking at the opposite way? The women who act like that appear to be ugly. Okay, because I know women that are gorgeous beyond belief, but they just act like a bitch, and just they're just little.
The minute they open their mouths, then they become ugly in your mind. Yes,
exactly. So it's totally like a turnoff in the whole situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt about that.
So I think you can perceive the stories, the bedtime stories, two different ways. Don't act like that, and you won't be ugly.
That's certainly true.
You know what I mean?
I think you make a good point there, Tony. Thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Veronica on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Okay, Veronica.
I think this is the way I see it. I think it starts, in infancy, because the cute babies always get the attention, always, are always getting whatever they want. I have a 6-year-old daughter who's beautiful, who gets, who attracts the attentions of complete strangers, and she plays it up, to no end. So I think it's, society plays just as much as role in that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, she's since she was a baby, been given everything she wants. All she has to do is bat her eyes, and as a 6-year-old, still gets whatever she wants. And so, just by making, a cute look to somebody. And,
that's right.
And so she's being handed whatever she wants by even complete strangers, and that's something that's going to go up with her,
Fat and ugly people have to compensate. They have to get more degrees. They have to go to school longer, have to work longer hours.
Well, the sad thing
That's just the reality.
The sad thing is that she comes home all upset because, the cattiness with the other girls are already starting.
Right.
And I have to explain to her, honey, they're just jealous. When you're a grown up and when you're older, you're going to understand. And I'm sorry that they're mean to you, but they're just jealous and they just want what they don't have.
You are absolutely right about that, Veronica. Thank you for the call. Our toll-free telephone number from across North America is 1-800-5800-TOM.
The Tom Leykis Show. This is the Tom Leykis Show.
From Los Angeles at 1-800-5800-TOM. Research coming out that suggests that fairy tales could be damaging to a girl's self-esteem. We've talked about self-esteem of girls, fairy tales, and whether the beautiful women get all the breaks and the ugly ones have to work late and hard. We know it's true. Remember, Cinderella had those ugly stepsisters. Prince Charming didn't have a glass slipper for them. Remember? 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Maureen on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Maureen.
Let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you think beauty lasts?
How long does it last?
How many years?
Well, I don't know if it's a number of years. I think there's an age until which it lasts. And I would say generally it starts to decline around age 30.
No, how many years? Like 10, 15, 20?
Well, I mean, it depends. Well, dear, it's a stupid question because I don't know where you...
It's not a stupid
Yeah, I'm going to tell you why it's a stupid question. It's a stupid question because I don't know what year you care to start with. Can a baby be beautiful?
18.
18? All right, 12 years.
12 years? So
yeah, till about 30, and then it starts to decline, yes.
Okay, so beauty starts declining. Okay, so what you're basing this fairy tale perspective on is a 12-year time span.
There's a 12-year window for women to cash in their chips, and if they don't, their chances of meeting a desirable man, a man with a good income, a man with a good head on his shoulders, begin to decline. And there is statistical evidence for this.
I have listened to you for a while, and so I know your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You have said that, you want a woman to be barefoot and, you know, in your bed, like, until they hit 30. And then what?
Well, there, that's not what I've said. You actually have, in your own way, capsulized what I've said. What I have said, though, as far as dating women is concerned, dear.
That's the way you say it.
No, dear, that's believe me. I'm the one who says this stuff. I hear every live hour of this show every day, the whole thing.
Grammar, though.
What's that?
Let me correct your grammar, though.
Which grammar?
Encapsulated. It's not capsulate.
Oh, please. You know what, dear? You see, you are proving my point. You are no doubt a homely bitch. You've proven your point.
No, I'm not. I'm an educated woman.
But that doesn't mean you're not homely.
Once you're past...
Dear, you are homely. You're past your expiration date. My guess is you've never seen a penis except the one you have.
You're appealing to a population that is so young. Like, they wouldn't go beyond 35 without having to deal with the reality of what's going to happen beyond.
The reality is, for my boys, the more money they make and the more power they get, the younger and hotter chicks they will get. And that's a fact.
Well, at least they'll look good, but once they open their mouth...
we hope they won't. By the way, we hope they won't.
But you got married, so... yeah.
I did, and I learned by doing. I learned by the mistakes I've made, absolutely.
And these women open their mouth, so you're looking for something.
Get ready to bleep me, Brett. This is important. You know what? When she opens her mouth, I wanted to open it for one reason. That's to put my in.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, but
that's the only reason to open her mouth. The rest of it, I don't. Am I really going to get the idea that attractive women under the age of 45? You really think that attractive women under the age of 45 know anything about the news or politics or have any important opinions about anything important? Please.
Well, yeah, I do.
Well, you're wrong.
Well,
you're wrong, dear.
In different
I know you've probably dated many, but I'm telling you, from my experience dating young, attractive women, that most of them don't know anything about what's in the news or about politics or anything of import. They know what happened to Joey and Rachel, and they know what happened on Entertainment Tonight, and they know what happened on Charmed, but they really don't know what's happening in the world.
Do you realize why your show is popular?
Yes, because I tell the truth, dear.
No, because...
because I have the balls to tell the truth. I don't live in that politically correct world where you live, dear.
To under 35 male who doesn't read the paper either.
Oh, really?
They don't read the paper.
Oh.
I do my own investing.
Yeah, well, the last thing I'm going to do, well, I'm sure you do, because I'm sure that no man would do it for you.
Because I have a choice, and I choose to... I choose it.
Yeah, and I know you. Come on, tell us the truth. You are a lesbian, right?
No, I'm not.
You're not?
No, I'm an assertive female.
Maybe you ought to look into it. Look into it.
Good pun.
Thank you.
But do you?
So are you telling me? Wait a minute. You're 38 years old. You do your own investing. Let me ask you a question. What is your husband's name, darling?
I don't have a husband.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
38 years old, do your own investing. We can imagine what you look like.
But do you realize the trend?
Read the paper.
This is why your show is popular, because men don't really know what to do. Women can do it all.
We know. We can sure you can. Yeah, well, but you know what? Attractive women know nothing about politics, know nothing about the news, have no opinions about anything of import. It is not an accident that you can't get a woman elected president in this country, even though women are the majority.
In your lifetime.
No accident.
In your lifetime.
What do you mean in my lifetime?
There'll be a...
No, there won't. No, there won't.
Please.
No, there won't. And you know why? Because women won't vote for women. That's the reason. The fact is, there's more women than men. You would think just by that sheer number alone, a woman would have been president by now. But
the reason why your show is popular.
Yeah, you got to stop, dear, stop right there. I'm not going to let you repeat the same material. You're going to have to come up with a new line. You've said that one 3 times now. So if you don't have any new material, I'm not going to let you say that one again.
Well, okay, women can impregnate themselves. They can.
Well, no, they can't. They have to get sperm from a man somewhere.
Artificial insemination.
But it's still, where'd the sperm come from? The sperm is not artificial, dear. It's the insemination that is artificial.
We don't need them in the room.
Well, dear, that's what women who can't get a man always say. 38-year-old spinsters like yourself who do your own investing, that's the kind of thing you would say.
Career, or I can stay home, or...
No, dear, you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice because you don't have a man. And you can't get a man. And no man would listen to you.
Oh, my God.
No man could tolerate hearing your voice. Hang on a second. Jeff, what did you want to say to Maureen here?
You know, if someone needs to, I got an idea for this, broad. I think you just need to kill yourself. I mean, I think it'd make it a lot easier for everybody else. Because, I mean, I don't know anybody would want to listen to a bitch like you.
38, unmarried, does her own investing. Need we say more?
Oh, easy. Just kill yourself. I mean, do the world a favor. I mean, all I hear is from her is me.
How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
23.
Ah! What a baby. He has no idea. He has no idea what the world is like.
Well,
Well,
come on. I know it's a lot harder for you because you're an ugly bitch, but I mean, come on now.
Well, after you're divorced 3 times, okay?
Back in the old days. Back in the old days, you'd call it being an old maid.
Yeah, okay. So, who else? Do you have another caller?
By the way,
Tom.
Maureen, how much do you weigh?
I weigh 130. I'm 5'8".
You're 5'8" and 130. Okay, that's maybe 10.
Probably got a face like a
10
stop
pounds
clock,
over.
though.
Oh, no, there's no doubt that face could stop a clock. There's no doubt about that. Ryan, what do you want to say to Maureen here?
Maureen, you're way, way, way off base. I'm 37 years old. I read the paper every day. I get hot chicks. I listen to Lycus 101.
This is a guy who's validating his existence. Oh, please.
How come you do not have a man at 38? Is there a reason you sound? I'm sorry.
Because
you
I'm
sound
picky.
like a dyke.
Because
you
I'm
sound
picky.
like a dyke, and I'm sorry. But well, why don't you have a man?
I'm picky. I am several men, actually. It's not like I haven't gotten laid last night.
You probably got a back door the size of a Mack truck rear end, and you're going down the road looking just like with an oversized load sticker going on. Thanks, Tom.
I'm here to help, Ryan. Well, Maureen, you sure told us the truth here. I'll tell you what.